And you do it yourself.
Yeah, and it took like 10 minutes to apply.
What do you think, Joanne?
Oh,
I mean,
Susie?
Susie.
Susie.
Yeah.
See how
Excuse me.
quick you forget. All men are alike. Okay.
You sound like Nancy.
Okay.
Rick can always come up with so much information, Susie.
Yes, I do enjoy listening to the show. I listen every Saturday because I have a Saturday job I drive to, and live in Hope Sound. It's kind of way far away from everything. So I do listen to your show every Saturday morning.
Well, thank you. Please spread the word. We love to have female callers, and it's nice to have folks from close up. You say you're in Hope Sound?
Yes, right
Call-
down the street from where you are.
Is that right? Wonderful.
Yeah, don't y'all live on a Stewart Inlet Colony?
That's right.
Juvenile colony.
Great.
That's right.
That's great. Well, Susie, thanks so much for calling. Spread the word, and we'll talk with you soon.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
All right.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Mark, who's holding in Lake Worth.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I got a question for Rick. I had a new AC compressor, thermostat, and water pump put in the end of July, and it at Toyota, and it cost me a pretty penny. But my car's a 2010. I got about 78,000 miles on it, and I've never had to really put in any money. And you can't live without an air conditioner in a car, let alone have a fat chance to sell it down here in Florida. Yeah, it's a whistle, like you know, you'd blow into a kid's whistle. Well, I can tell you, it's a whistle sound. I heard it once, just for a few seconds when I was stopped at a light too. But last night I went out, picked something up. I came home, put the car in the garage, shut it off, and there's this whistle sound, and then it goes away.
Is this all since you had the work done on your vehicle?
Yeah.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
what model car is this, please?
Oh, yeah, it's a Corolla, LE Corolla 2010 with 78,000 miles on it.
Okay, because those don't have any sort of air pumps or anything for the emissions. And it's not a beep or anything. It's like an air whistling sound?
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, Mark,
No beeping.
you just touched on one of the most interesting, challenging problems we have repairing cars. And my suggestion to you is to take it to service department, Toyota otherwise, with a mechanic that you trust and know, and have him ride in the car with you. Sometimes these things are so intermittent, they're not going to occur when you want it to occur, and you might have to leave.
I know, yeah, that's...
You might want to
concerned
leave the
about.
car and have somebody listen to it. You might want to try to catch it on a recording. That would be, if you could record the sound and play it to a good technician. It would mean, I guarantee you, if Rick heard it or a good technician like Rick heard it, they would probably be able to make a pretty good educated guess. But it's unusual that Rick would be.
Almost sounds like there's air, trying to leak through something, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that almost sounds to me like maybe a vacuum line has gotten loose, and the emission system is letting the air pressure escape, and that's something you definitely want to get somebody to get a look at and figure out where that's coming from.
Does it only happen when you turn the engine off?
Like I said, I heard it happen when I was sitting at a light too.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
But it was very brief then, and then it went away, and I hadn't heard it in days. And then last night, I shut the car off and I hear it.
Rick, would you think that maybe if they hooked it up to a diagnostic tester?
The first thing we'd have to do is actually hear it and try to figure out where it's coming from. 'Cause that sounds to me like maybe one of the emission systems, like a hose has come loose, or maybe it's got a little crack somewhere, and it's actually sucking or blowing air through it and causing that whistle sound. So that's what I would be looking for.
All right, emission system hose.
Yeah,
So
looking
you
for
check
it.
for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And
And the
you
vacuum line also.
Yes.
you could call Rick at the dealership and you could swing in there. He'd be glad to listen to it for you. And you're in Lake Worth, so that's not that far. And let him listen to it. I think once he hears it, he can nail it down, tell you what it is.
All right. Where are you again, please?
North Palm Beach, US 1, Earl Stewart Toyota.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Mark,
so
thanks for the
Rick's in
call.
during the week.
I'm sorry we couldn't identify. This is the first time I've ever seen Nick stumped, but he won't be stumped when he sees the car and hears the noise.
Okay. All
Thanks
righty.
for
Thank
joining
you.
us, Mark.
Have a good one. Thanks for the call,
Bye-bye.
Mark.
We'll talk to you soon.
877-960-9960.
That's right.
And do we have any more texts?
Yes, we do. We have a text from Anne Marie, longtime listener, longtime texter.
Oh, boy.
She just texted us at 772-497-6530. Anne Marie says, "Good morning. I have great hopes for autonomous cars. What a great idea. Cars that drive themselves. They'd be a blessing for distracted drivers with squabbling kids, rambunctious dogs, or seniors with declining eyesight. Unfortunately, I'll second Tina's suggestion to watch the online videos of Tesla's Smart Summon. The videos are both funny and terrifying. It is clear that they are not ready for prime time yet. Auto manufacturers, please keep working on it. The need is great. Thank you." And that's so true. I mean, right now it's such a novelty, and it's kind of a neat thing. One day, and not in the too distant future, we're going to be bored by it because it's the way cars are going to be.
You know, the thing that attracts me most to autonomous cars, maybe it's just my personality, but I don't like to waste time. And if you want to see me get cranky, put
a bridge
as
up in front of you.
Yeah, put a bridge up in front of me. I would like to be able. I don't have a chauffeur or a Bentley. I suppose I guess the nice thing about being a billionaire, you know, Jeeves comes up in your Bentley, you get in the back seat.
They already have autonomous cars.
And he's got an autonomous car. So think of it this way: you're all become billionaires.
Right.
You'll have your own limo, and all you do is tell Jeeves, who happens to be your car, say, "Take me to the library, take me to the doctor's office, take me to work."
You don't even have to go. Jeeves,
Yeah.
go to the grocery store and come back with some apples.
People are afraid to take a job that's too long. I know people that are looking at driving half an hour to work and back, and they say that's too much. In New York, you know, a lot of people commute an hour, 2 hours. The commuting time of the American population to and from work is huge. Think of the productivity increase when you can sit in your vehicle autonomously taking you to work, and you can have your laptop and your smartphone, or just a real old-fashioned book, or you can be watching television, or you can be playing a Monopoly. You can at least use your time instead of sitting there like a fool and looking at the road and screaming at people.
And anything you do in the privacy of your own home,
Yeah, I mean,
you can do on the road now.
I pray that I will live long enough to have my own autonomous car.
You will. You'll get one of the first ones.
I like Rick's expression.
They're making fun of me, folks, but that's okay.
Exactly. Hey, can everyone see our faces? Do we look good this morning or what?
We're back up?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I was
we're
feeling
up and
relaxed
streaming.
there for a minute. Now everybody can see me.
Hi, everybody.
All right, well, that's
Put your
good news.
hairpiece back on, Stu.
Okay. That's good news. We have a anonymous feedback here, and I think this might have been the one we got it last Sunday. This might have been inspired your blog article this week on Costco. It says, "Hi Earl, can you go over the Costco car buying program again? Do they give you a price that includes all fees, and what fees are not included that we should be aware of when getting the Costco price? If the dealer includes an extra fee, what do we do?" And that's a great question, and it's very topical because Earl's blog article this week is all about the Costco auto buying program and our mystery shop report this week.
Yeah, I was looking for it. I was trying to
There we
find
go.
it.
It's your,
So he's got a
Earl's-
tutorial on that.
It's a tutorial. Yeah, I just made a simple 10 points that if you cover all those 10 points in the blog, you will have a incredibly low price, and you will have a relatively pleasant experience buying a car from a Costco certified dealer. I had a friend the other day that called me up, and she was buying a Mercedes, and I told her, "Have you tried the Costco auto buying program?" No, first I said, "Are you a Costco member?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Great." And a lot of Costco members don't even know about the auto buying program. And I told her how to go about it, and I warned her to be careful. And then I saw her again. I said, "Did you do it?" She said, "I put my zip code in, and there wasn't a certified dealer." I should have told her that some manufacturers, like we shopped a Ford dealer for this show, and there were 7 Ford dealers that popped up as being Costco approved certified. She put in Mercedes and none in her zip code. So I said, put in another zip code. Go further south and north, east and west, and you'll find a Costco certified dealer. Okay.
Well, I just want to let everyone know that Ollie is very happy that we are up and running, and he can see us.
Well, that's good.
Give us a call at
I love Ollie.
Give us a call at 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And
Or you can join our live stream and start making comments and questions because we're up. It's really nice.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget your anonymous feedback. That's www.youranonymousfeedback.com. Now back to Stu.
Yep. On your anonymous feedback, we have a question for Rick. If I lose my fob, my new Toyota, we're talking about their key remote. Let's say I lose it at work, and I don't want whoever finds it to just keep clicking it until they find my car and steal it. So, can I take my car to a Toyota dealership and buy a new fob and have the car and new fob reprogrammed so the old fob no longer works for my push-start Toyota? And second part to my question, how many fobs do you get with a new push-start Toyota?
Yes, you can. And it used to be most cars came with 2 fobs, although I think now they're cutting it to 1 for some of them.
Is fob the word that we're using? I knew there used to be a watch fob, but I didn't know that they call keys fobs.
I think it's commonly called, and I don't think it's a industry. I hear customers call it fobs all the time too. Yeah,
fob seems to be the default term that everybody's using, but otherwise it could be the wireless or the keyless remote.
Yeah. Now, Rick was referring to some cars only coming with 1. The ones I'm familiar with, at least for Toyota, I don't think those are the smart keys push starts. I think that's the actual key. So some keys have like the door opener remotes and alarm built into the key, and there's actual metal key sticking out there. And some of the newer cars, different manufacturers are offering one of those, and then a regular key without the buttons on
without
it.
the remote.
Yeah. I think if you have the push button start, which is very common in cars, I think you're getting 2.
Most of those still come with 2.
Yeah, because there's no actual physical key.
I've got a great suggestion. You ready? I just got this, and I don't even think Stu has one of these. I'm a tech nut, and I bought one of these a tile.
Yeah.
And you take a tile. It's a device that is amazing. And this is like a 2nd or 3rd generation tile. And it's a little thing. I've got it on my keys. And you can put it on your fob, your remote. And the nice thing about it is wherever my keys are, I can find it with my app on my phone, anywhere in the world.
Until the battery dies.
Until the battery dies. But this has a replaceable battery.
Okay.
And it warns you on your iPhone your battery's getting low and you replace the battery. The old tiles, you're right, did not have replaceable batteries. Now,
Apple's coming out with one of those things too.
And the other thing is, if you lose your iPhone, all you do is you push this little button on the tile twice, and your iPhone, even if you turned it off, will ring.
That's incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Your watch does that too.
Absolutely. So no matter, and then you can also, if you leave your key somewhere, for example, I have it programmed so if I leave my key home, it will alert me on my iPhone, you forgot your keys. Or if I leave my key at work, it says, you left your keys in the office. I turn around and go get my key. Anyway, fobs now are very expensive. Some of them in the luxury cars are up in like $600-700, and even in the regular cars are like $200 or $300. Get yourself a tile, and you'll never lose your fob.
See, that's part of the love part of your love-hate relationship with technology.
It is.
You can curse technology, but then it just comes back and saves your life.
Little yin and yang.
Exactly.
Yeah. Technology City here, folks. Give us a call toll free. Be part of the show at 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And I see that the guys have texts and also some, response on YouTube.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do either.
Okay, Rick.
Well, the first one I've got here is from Mark Ryan in Iowa, not to be confused with Mark Smith in Iowa, who both are on YouTube right now. Welcome to both of you. Mark's asking about the new GF6A motor oil standard that has come out. Basically, this is a new service industry standard. It's a backwards compatible motor oil that will handle all the viscosities except for the newest 0W16 motor oil. And my thoughts, basically, it's just the continuing evolution of making oil better and more processed and more refined. So first off, it helps improve fuel economy a little bit, reduce emissions, and of course, unfortunately, so the oil companies can charge us more.
Now, what is that standard again? Repeat that.
It's the new GF6A.
Okay.
And this is a
Like
new motor oil.
George Frank.
Yes. And it's supposedly the main motivating factor behind it is it's for the direct injection diesel engines that are in a lot of cars.
Oh.
And it's supposed to help improve fuel economy and reduce emissions while at the same time being better all around. So we'll have to wait and see how well it performs. But there is also a GF6B, which is for the newest cars using 0W16 motor oil, which is an incredibly thin, low viscosity oil used in the newest cars coming out.
You know, I'll just interject here briefly. I read an interesting article. Actually, it was an advertisement from Mobil Oil, and they were targeting fleet customers, rental car companies and trucking companies. And it's very interesting that they are able to stretch the time between oil changes out in trucking and leasing and rental companies, I guess, by testing the oil in the fleet and by detecting the need to change the oil based on the chemistry of the oil itself. So instead of going by the factory recommendations, and a heads-up warning to anybody that wants to try this, don't do this at home, because if you don't obey the manufacturer's recommendations, you can void your warranty. But if you're a multi-million-dollar fleet, Hertz or big trucking company, then you can do this, and you can afford to do it. If you miss a little warranty, it's not going to hurt you. But you might, instead of having to change your oil every 10,000 miles, you might change it every 15. Imagine what that would do to a fleet with thousands of vehicles on the road. It would save time, it would save cost, and so on and so forth.
Not to mention, it's better for our environment because you're not using as much oil, and it doesn't have to be recycled or disposed of later.
And I predict this may happen too, that we will have an internal check on the chemistry of the oil. And instead of saying blindly, change your oil every 10,000 miles or 6 months, whichever first occurs, which is one size fits all, everybody's driving habits are different, environment is different, temperatures, the whole 9 yards. So your car and your unique driving, it will tell you might change your oil in 7,000 miles, or you might should change your oil in 17,000 miles. And the chemistry check internally in the car would do that. I'm going to patent that.
But by then, we're going to have electric cars that don't need oil changes. So
Right.
So, Rick, we're saving the environment, we're improving fuel economy, and from what I understood that you said, it enhances the engine capabilities.
Yep.
So it's really a win-win situation.
Not to mention, if your engine doesn't work as hard, it's going to last longer.
Yeah.
Okay, we got some more text?
Great information.
We do. Let's see here. This one's for Stu, probably. Wayne is asking, when do the 2020 CHRs come out?
I don't know. I think you're probably looking at December or possibly early next year. CHR is like a little Toyota kind of crossover. Really cool looking, but it's not selling very quickly. I can't predict this. I'm predicting this, but they'll probably discontinue them. I think that's my guess. But they're a cool little car, and not trying to sell them or anything like that. But usually, we'll see those new models coming out probably around winter time.
Well, Wayne, that's interesting. That be careful if you love the CHR, go ahead and buy it. Yeah. But bear in mind, if they discontinue it, it hurts the resale value.
I'm not a professional industry
analyst. Your opinion. I agree. I happen to agree with you.
If they're selling, if dealers are selling a handful a month, that's not a good sign.
Okay. And the last one I've got is from JR. He's asking, what about buying a car from a rental company?
I think depending on the rental company, it's a good idea. The rental companies, Enterprise is a good example. Hertz is another. They have fair pricing. They have one price. It's not a haggle hassle thing. They maintain their cars well. Used to be rental car was a red flag. You bought a car. Oh, this was a rental car. They never took care of it. Hertz, Enterprise, any good rental company takes really good care of their cars, and they have fair pricing. I think a rental company is a really good place to buy a car.
As a matter of fact, just got one more quick one in. Ernesto's asking, I've heard that if you over-service your car, you void your warranty. Is that true? And is there such a thing as over-servicing your car?
I don't think it's true, and I think you can over-service your car, meaning you can waste money. You could change oil every day, and that would not be the right thing to do. It wouldn't hurt the car. It would just take a lot of time and money.
It puts some extra wear and tear on your oil pan cap and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You're exposing your car to more risk. More things can go wrong.
Yeah. No, I think, let's put it this way. Rule of thumb, you should service your car
twice a year,
more frequently rather than less frequently, but don't go crazy.
Yeah.
And at the minimum, follow the manufacturer's recommended maintenance schedule. That way you don't void the warranty. But
exactly.
Doing oil changes and services too often cannot void your warranty.
No.
Yeah. And also, Rick, the manufacturer's recommended, not the dealers. If you're servicing at a dealer, and if they tell you need to do it, it's part of the maintenance schedule. Ask, is that the factory recommended maintenance schedule, or is that the dealership's recommended?
Very important, and if they say it is manufacturers,
verify.
If you don't have your owner's manual handy, and a lot of us don't, or if we have it, we can't find it. Where it's
or how does
listed.
ask that service advisor, show me in the maintenance manual, and if he hum-a-hummas, then there's something going on. Or Google it.
They're online.
Yeah.
They're online. So you could go to
Honda.com.
Honda Accord maintenance 2019, and it would be there. Owner's manual.
You would find the exact same book as a PDF file that you could download. You could look at it online anytime.
I didn't know that.
Same thing with your owner's manual.
So cool.
They're all out there.
Wow, that's great. God, technology, it's going too fast.
You keep forgetting
It's at
about the
your
Google
fingertips.
thing.
An amazing show today, ladies and gentlemen. Be part of the show at 877-960-9960. Or again, you can text us at 772-497-6530. If Sue?
You can call me Stu.
If Stu has any more texts, I'll let you get to that, and then I have a text to share with the folks.
Yeah, I'll jump on one and flip over to you. Good afternoon. Love the radio show. I'm in Central Time, so I miss your shows, but I listen on YouTube. Great thing that you're all doing. Just wanted to say you push ASE mechanics basically saying they're the only people to bring your car to, which is false. There's plenty of good techs like myself with over 20 years experience that are more knowledgeable than any ASE tech. All ASE means is that they passed a written test. I know many ASE techs who are not good mechanics but somehow passed the test. Anyways, just wanted to state that just because someone is not ASE doesn't mean they're not good. Now, factory trainer certified is different, and they're taught tips and tricks about new car manufacturers specific to the cars, which is very good. Anyways, love the show. Keep up the good work.
I know Rick's wheels are turning there too. I agree with that to some extent. Book learning is one thing, experience is another thing, intelligence is another thing, and not one of those by itself is going to make a good technician.
Yeah.
But you have to have someone who's smart, he has experience. But I really think the ASE certifications are good because, especially for an experienced technician like Rick, he knows what to listen to and read and absorb, and without the ASE studying, I don't think he would be as good a technician as you are.
I also think it's a standard. Like you're absolutely right, and the commenter is also absolutely right. It's not the defining thing that tells you that, but it gives you, if you don't know anybody, if you don't know who is a reputable mechanic, it gives you a starting point to look for.
In our dealership, we pay technicians based on the number of their ASE certifications. So if people have, if they get, isn't that right, Rick?
Yeah.
So, Rick is looking a little skeptical about that, and it may not be the best way, but it encourages people. You take a person and they don't have any ASE certifications, and he comes in and say, I've been a technician for 10 years, hire me. And you hire him. But you still don't know exactly what he does know. You know what he says he knows. And to pass the test, they're not easy to pass. I mean, you have to study. You can't just take the test and pass it. You have to study to pass it, and so that means you learn something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Well, I do a pretty good job running a business. I don't have an MBA, so.
True. Good point.
You do, though.
True. That's the reason I'm better than you are.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, just to throw my 2 cents worth in here, and this is the new thing coming from Toyota. In order to have a technician that can do service campaigns, the new all the recalls, the safety campaigns on your car, that technician has to be certified in the area for whichever that recall is calling for.
Sure.
And ASE certification is only the first step in that certification.
Or-
If they are
or
not,
or hybrid certifications. You have to
Right.
be certified to be a hybrid.
but if they're not ASE certified in certain areas, they cannot do the recalls on those cars. And the next step that Toyota's coming out with, and I guarantee every manufacturer is going to follow this, is they're not going to be certified to do warranty work. So if a technician does not have ASE certifications and wants to work at a dealership, you're not going to be able to do recalls or warranty work, which is about 60 to 70% of the work that a dealership does.
And that tells you how important Toyota considers ASE certification. So,
And not just Toyota, all the manufacturers are going to
yeah.
follow that.
Yeah, exactly.
What one does, all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And Toyota's probably not the first.
Yeah, but to the commentator's point, it's hard to find one, but he's absolutely right. I'm sure there's some incredibly talented technicians out there.
sure.
Yeah. All right, so the next one says, my mother is leasing a 2019 RAV4. She's 20,000 miles on the car and 2 years into the lease. The front 2 tires are wearing uneven, and the dealer wants $1,000 for tires, for 2 tires. I refuse to pay for tire treads. They're good, and they're just wearing uneven on the sides. Under the company's warranty, there's tires, I guess the tire warranty is for 30, 40, 50, 60,000 miles, but the tire company won't cover them. They're saying the tires were not rotated, but they were. The dealer does them every oil change. The dealership is telling me there's nothing they can do. I'm not happy. I want to call Toyota. They should cover this. Any thoughts?
I would pursue that. I think that, and Rick can correct me if I'm wrong here, if these tires have been rotated according to the manufacturer's recommendation, and they still have severe inside wear, someone didn't check their alignment, or somebody didn't do their job checking the car. She has how many miles on it?
20,000.
20,000. Rick?
2019 RAVs only just came out the beginning of this year, right, Stu? About January was when we first got them.
It was in early spring, like probably
Okay.
February, March, yeah.
So if she's been following the manufacturer's recommended maintenance each time, which Toyota pays for them, so I see no reason for them not to, that means the tire pressures would have been checked each time, and the tires would have been rotated. If they're getting edge wear on both edges, there's a problem with those tires, because that's an issue with inflation. Well, it would be inflation, but since they would have been checked each time, obviously it's not going to be an inflation issue. That's a problem with the tire. If it's an alignment issue, then she should have the alignment checked, and if the alignment specs show that the car is in specification for alignment, hey, tire company's responsible all day long.
Unfortunately, you've got yourself a real challenge here. You're going to be caught between the dealer and the manufacturer of the tires, and both of them are going to be claiming they're innocent. But you're not guilty. You just don't know which one is guilty. Either the dealer did not properly check your alignment, or the tire company has got, as Rick said, an issue. It's awfully hard to win an argument with a tire company on inside wear on tires. I'm leaning toward the dealer being responsible, and if you did your maintenance according to Toyota's recommended time schedule and mileage schedule, and as Rick said, it's free for the first 2 years, you should have done it, and if that's the case, go back and talk to the dealer.
Yeah, you'll have all the records, get an alignment check,
Yeah.
and you've got all the ammunition you need.
Yeah.
and the dealership should come down on your side to try to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your bases covered. All right, we got a joke.
Uh-huh.
I like jokes.
Joke came in on youranonymousfeedback.com. If you own a Tesla and it's stolen, would it then be called an Edison?
I don't get it.
Well, they were. Well, if you recall, back in the late 19th century, there was a battle between DC direct current and AC alternating current, and Edison was the big promoter of DC current, which was much more dangerous. Tesla's idea was the alternating current, which is what we use now, and much safer. And Tesla, I think, was accused of stealing some of Edison's ideas. So, very technical, very
Wow.
narrow audience on
You're
that
very
one.
smart. Did you research that, or did you know it right away?
You know, I'm an educated man. So.
Your
Wow.
knowledge is overwhelming. As you
That's
can
what you
see, I
call
had
a
to take
nerd
my
joke.
headphones off because my ears are sweating.
Sorry about that. That is a nerd joke.
And
That's why I laughed at it.
I mean, that is a totally
for that
nerd joke.
information.
I didn't realize you were such a nerd. You Googled that, didn't you?
No, Nikolai Tesla.
Wow.
Thomas Edison.
He's going to beat it
Jonathan,
out of you.
did you know that?
All right, let me tell you the truth.
Oh, man, two nerds in here.
Fifth grade.
Mr.
Three.
Smarty Pants over there in the corner.
You got it.
Jonathan.
I love Tesla.
In fifth
The
grade,
man, the
we did a
original
play.
Tesla.
We did a musical play in fifth grade about Thomas Edison, and I learned some of that. I'm
Wow.
not going to sing the songs, but I still remember them for
Oh,
some
come
reason.
on.
No way.
Okay.
In 1877. All right,
Oh,
sorry.
there you go.
Nancy's got a text, right?
Yeah, I do. And this is from Sylvia, and she's texting us from Pittsburgh. And she's out looking for a used car, and she wants to know how important a vehicle history report is in her purchase of the pre-owned certified car. Well, Sylvia, at the end of the day, it's extremely important because you can find out things that maybe the dealership hasn't shared with you. And that's everything from, how many accidents it's been in. It can give you a mileage history. There are a lot of things, and it certainly is worth its weight in gold. So you want to go to a reputable source, and I suggest Carfax.com to obtain all that history. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, the dealer
Earl's gonna take over.
should give you that. If you're buying it from a car dealer, they should pull the Carfax report for you and show it to you.
Well, she's exploring two different avenues, and that is a private owner, and it is a dealership. And as I said, she is out shopping.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope I helped you, Sylvia. To all of you that are listening, give us a call toll free. We'd love to hear from you. We have a great mystery shopping report coming up from Pompano Ford, 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530.
I just back on Sylvia's question. The vehicle history report is important, but more important is having a car checked by an independent mechanic. And sometimes there are issues with a car that wouldn't show up on the history report. And a good mechanic for $100 or $150 can pretty well give you ironclad guarantee the car's okay.
Great advice. Very good advice. There's a lot of people that have driven that car, so there are a lot of things to look into, and it'll definitely save you money down the road.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we have any more text or YouTubes?
Yes, we do.
Okay, let's go to them.
Hello. What is the best way to change a salesperson if you don't get along with the one you're currently working with? If you do change sales reps during the process, which sales rep gets the credit for the sale? It's a great question. I don't think we've had that before, and that's something that we think about a lot.
Yeah, it's a human thing. It's car dealers wrestle with this, salespeople wrestle with this. In an ideal world for a car dealer, and I'm a car dealer in full transparency, and I think about this. Stu thinks about it all the time, because you have a person comes in to buy a car, and you have a car salesperson. What about the chemistry and the psychologies of those two people? When you meet a person, you have a first impression. Ideally, as car dealers, we would like to have the perfect match for every person that walked in the door who was interested in buying a car. And you as a customer, when you go in, you'd like to have that match too. But now you get into personalities and humanity and hurt feelings and so on and so forth. So it's really hard. I get myself in a lot of trouble as a car dealer if I had some sort of a profiling, stereotyping way to match salespeople with customers. Somebody would get offended, and probably somebody would sue me. They'd say you can't do that. But you, as a customer, you can do anything you want to. And what you should do is try to overcome your shyness about asking for another salesperson. And you should try to do it with a smile and pleasantly. And if you feel uncomfortable with that salesperson, you should politely ask to speak to his manager and whisper to him, if you want to, say, George is a fine young man, and I mean nothing negative about this. I would feel more comfortable if I could speak with another salesperson, maybe a woman, if you're a woman, or maybe somebody that maybe you have difficulty with accents. You might have someone that has an accent speaking English, but he has a Hispanic or a Creole or a French or whatever it may be, and you have a hard time understanding him. You're going to spend $40,000 or $50,000. You want to understand everything that salesperson says. So you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Talk to the sales manager respectfully and explain why you'd like to have a different salesperson.
Yeah. And to put your mind at ease also, I mean, this is something that car dealers deal with. I don't know how many take it that seriously, but we do. And we talk about it with our salespeople. It doesn't mean it's a personal insult.
And as far as who gets credit for the sale, that would depend on the dealership. And a lot of dealerships, a situation like that, the commission would be split. In some cases, it wouldn't be. But the important thing to remember is the salesman's commission should be the least of your concerns, because if you deal with someone that you can't understand or feel comfortable with, you're not going to do the right thing in picking the right car at the right price.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so.
remember that, that salesperson, it's not your friend. And when you walk into that dealership, you have full control. So gently let your voice be heard and express what you need to make that sale. And like Earl said, if you're not getting along with that, or personalities clash sometimes, go to the manager and again, express yourself and let them know you'd like someone else to take care of you. Remember, they want to make a sale. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530.
We have anonymous comments from a car dealer. Hello, Earl and Company. I'm a car dealer.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, well, it's not that exciting. It's a good question, but it's not as provocative as you thought.
We've never had someone come out and say that. I mean, I'm just...
Come on, Rick, sound effects.
There's no... this is not an attack, so
okay.
There's no fight here. So.
Okay.
Hello,
Darn.
Hello, Earl and Company. I'm a car dealer, and I buy cars at many different Manheim auctions via simulcast. By the way, for the listeners, simulcast is just an online way to buy cars. You see pictures, videos of the cars going through. And let me continue.
High tech, very cool.
Yeah.
At our dealership, we do the same thing. Mm-hmm. The whole world has changed with the way cars are bought wholesale.
Yeah, that's right. As you might know, and we do, I can bid on cars at live dealer auctions just like I was there in person. I can see a detailed condition report of each vehicle, and I can also see what dealership is bidding on each vehicle as it passes through the lane. My question is, and this may be rhetorical, is that I see Carvana and Vroom sometimes buying lower quality vehicles than I would ever consider. How do they get away with shipping to a customer a less than acceptable vehicle? Is that people only look at price and convenience? Is it that people only look at price and convenience? My customers would never buy a lower quality vehicle such as these. I'm curious as to your opinion on these two firms, Carvana and Vroom. Also, along the same lines, if there is structural damage vehicle going through the auction, you can bet that Off Lease Only is bidding and buying it. I even see them buying lemon law cars at the Mercedes Financial Auction. My dealer friends and I have a standing joke that if you are behind a vehicle with an Off Lease Only license plate frame, you can see the wavy body panels. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing the public a great service. Thank you very much. From a car dealer.
Oh.
Just real quick before you get into it, Carvana, you've probably seen the commercials on TV because they're all over the place, and it's a way to buy a used car, but it's also a way to sell your car. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to get established, and they are paying a lot of money right now. They're giving good. We tested it ourselves. They're buying cars from people, and they're paying top dollar for them. This might be a way to seed their business. It might not always last like that. And Vroom's another online service to buy cars online, used cars. And you can also do a trade-in or sell your car directly to them. And I'll turn it over to you now.
Well, the attitude, Mr. Dealer, that you have is typical of the attitude of most dealers, car dealers, because Carvana is a threat to our businesses. Off lease only is a threat. Vroom is a threat. It's a independent, large, soon to be IPO, could be a giant company like Uber, and we're all afraid of the way the car business is changing. So car dealers are afraid of off lease only because they buy lesser quality cars. Remember, the lesser quality cars that they buy for less money. And it's supply and demand. It's the marketplace that sets the online price. The Manheim online auction, is about as fair a wholesale price. As a matter of fact, the Manheim online auction defines wholesale price. So when a car with structural damage sells for $3,000 or $4,000 less than one without, and off lease only buys that car, yes, that car is not as high quality as the ones you bought and paid $3,000 more for. But what off lease only does is they pass along the savings to the buyer, and they will make anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 on that car. You will make as much as you possibly can on the car you bought. So there's a huge difference in price between the off lease only. Now, true, that car may have a problem that the buyer is unaware of. Buyer beware at off lease only. You should have the car checked by your mechanic. Now, if it's damage that is not going to affect the safety of the vehicle or the appearance, you mentioned wavy panels
Or drivability.
Then it's a real bargain. And I can not say no, don't buy a car from off lease only. I say buy a car from off lease only. You'll get a great price. Take it to a mechanic that you trust and get it checked out carefully. You are buying a car at a substantially reduced price. And that's just the truth. Yeah. I hate to say it because I'm in competition with off lease only, but they are eating my lunch, frankly, and they are selling far more used cars than I can. And we're trying to emulate them in some fact. We're sticking our toe in the water and actually going out and buying cars that are safe but discounted at the auctions because of what they call frame damage, but not, as you remember, frames today are not like they were 20 years ago. They are unibodies, and you can have damage to a vehicle today that they call structural damage that is not going to make the car unsafe. So,
but like you said, you got to emphasize it needs to be checked out. Some
Some
things are not even safety. You might have a car that's just off kilter, and for the rest of your time of ownership, it will never stay in alignment, and you'll grind through tires left and right. And that might not be a pressing safety thing, but it could cost you more money than you saved in the long run.
Exactly. And Carvana and the rest of them, same thing. They're buying these cars, and it's a bargain, I think, for the buyers if they're careful and have the vehicles checked out. Carvana's losing money hand over fist. I don't know about Vroom, but I do know that off lease only is making money hand over fist. So Carvana might not be around with us unless they have a successful IPO. And when they do, they're liable to raise their prices. They're liable to be able not to offer you as much when they buy your car.
That's right, but make hay while the sun shines.
Exactly.
Have you heard, this is anonymous feedback, have you all heard of dealers offering Tires for Life programs? And what are your thoughts on it? And then it says Tires for Life is a program where as long as you own your car and you follow their maintenance schedule, they offer you free tires when you need them. So what are your thoughts, Earl?
Well, we have that program in our dealership. We're one of the few that do it. It's a very controversial program. It's a very expensive program. The requirements at our dealership is that you have all your factory recommended maintenance done with us, with my dealership. And we do it because there's a business reason for doing it. Statistically, when you buy a car from a dealer and you bring that car back to that dealer for service, you're twice as likely to buy your next car from that dealer. So we have a selfish motivation. The motivation is not in having the car serviced with our dealership because, first of all, you're Toyota, you get 2 years free service. Some Toyota with Toyota Guard, you get virtually 4 years free service. And the amount of service and maintenance done on today's cars is nominal. The motivation, the selfish motivation we have is if you're twice as likely to buy a car from me because you're bringing back the service, that makes up for the huge costs that we have of supplying free tires for as long as you own the car.
There you go. We have another one here. It says, good morning. I hear you say change conventional oil every 5,000 miles. I hear others say 3,000 miles. My owner's manual for my 09 Kia Optima says change every 7,000 miles or 12 months. So who's correct? Also, I've had different dealership service and independents tell me not to follow the mileage or time in my owner's manual because the oil would be bad and sludgy. Thank you, and I apologize for the long question.
I'll answer it, but Rick will give you the better answer. My answer is simple and short. Always follow the manufacturer's oil change recommendation. Rick?
And the only thing that I can add to that is sometimes there are environmental factors that can make you want to change a little more often, but I would simply do it by every once in a while, pull that dipstick. If the oil's looking relatively normal, I wouldn't do it any more often than the factory recommends.
Sounds good.
There you go. And it also sounds like the mechanic who told you that if you did that, it's sludgy, is just trying to get your business and doing so in an unethical way.
Yep. Yes.
Here's a good one. Tesla. I've actually heard about the Teslas crashing in parking lots when the summon feature is used. Here's some details. The crash rate is very, very low, less than 100 in thousands of uses. One crash was caused by another driver, not the Tesla. This is, by the way, from Elon Musk. Just kidding. Not the Tesla. I made phone calls to 5 insurance companies yesterday asking about whether they'd insure Tesla owners who have the Tesla with this feature and whether they'd cover an accident using this feature. 3 insurance companies will insure Teslas and owners, but one mentioned outright that an accident caused by this feature would be an at-fault accident. One insurance company could not deduce from their underwriter whether such an accident or car with such a feature would be covered. One insurance company denied coverage, not for the car and owner, but for an accident where this feature is used. I didn't know that. That's a really good way to figure out if it is a safe thing, because the underwriters are studying the actuarial likelihood of accidents. So the fact that insurance companies will cover this is pretty neat, and also just makes sense that they would consider it an at-fault accident if the car did it.
Yeah, interesting.
Pretty cool. Okay.
Any more text?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
A really short one. How about mystery shopping Carvana? Well, we've done that. We'll put together a report for next week and tell you what happened when we did it.
Yeah, they come to your house. We had actually our used car wholesale manager pretend to buy.
Yeah, we did it for our internal purposes, but we can definitely share it on the radio next week.
Yeah, they're a legitimate outfit, and I would have no qualms about people trying to buy a car from them.
I can tell you that I was speaking with a Toyota executive who I won't mention the name because typically they want to do their business with Toyota dealers, but had to sell his car. And he tried Carvana, and you could say he was doing research, but they showed up at his house. A rep came in with paperwork ready to go. He had begun a figure online for his Toyota Tacoma. Came in, they gave him a really good price, like we were talking about, more than he expected to get. Showed up, didn't even look at the car, had him sign a few things, and towed the car away from him, and he got a check that day. And it was a pretty impressive, seamless 21st century experience.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit concerned because he says, I don't know very many dealers who could pull that off. And especially without a secondary inspection of the car. I mean, he got the number online, they showed up, went right to the kitchen table, and left with the car.
You know what I suspect? I think, like so many startups, Carvana is trying to build their revenue and their sales. And the cool thing about these startups, .com kind of startups, is the fact that they can lose money and it's okay because they start out with the private investors, private equity that gives them a huge amount of capital, and then they do the IPO. And when an IPO comes out now, a high-tech IPO like Carvana, the questions they ask isn't, are you making money? They say, how little? We only lost $1 billion last year. Wow.
But they can still, it's like Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And like
then they raised $6 billion. And now eventually they have to get profitable, but not for another 5 years.
Yeah. Then they
take
gotta get
advantage
real.
take advantage of Carvana. And I don't say don't get another bid on your car, but if you want to trade your car in or sell your car, let Carvana come out to your house and give you a number. Meanwhile, you'll have already shopped it, and if it's a great number, grab it. Take advantage of them.
That's right. Nancy's got a text, right?
I do. Rick, you do have some.
We got one quick one here.
Okay, you can go ahead.
This is from Mark in St. Louis. I got 3 Marks on YouTube today. That's pretty cool.
Cool.
Nice.
Mark
Uh,
3.
Stu, you probably would be the best one on this one. He's asking, good morning. Can I negotiate a remote starter add-on as part of a new car deal since the manufacturer does not install this feature on this vehicle?
Everything can be negotiated.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, you might want to start with a cliche. Can you throw it in? But make sure all the advice that we give on the show has to be followed. So you have to get different bids, different prices from different dealers, because they might throw in, give you a discount on a remote start package, something to install at the dealership. But you could be paying too much for the car anyway. You could be getting too little for your trade. They could be building in a lot of interest rate. So the same rules still apply. So yeah, you can try and get it thrown in.
Yeah, I'd save it for last.
Yeah.
I'd do what you said.
Exactly.
Negotiate a really slam dam doozy of a price,
Yeah.
the best price you've ever seen. And when you're ready to buy, throw in the remote.
The only thing I need now is a free remote start kit.
Free remote, yeah.
Now, this is not a Toyota commercial because I'm thinking all manufacturers are getting into this. A lot of the cars are now coming connected with cellular technology built into the car. It gives telemetrics to the dealership and the manufacturer on the health of your car. And what used to be a pretty, not terribly expensive, but an add-on dealer-installed option, remote start, is now kind of part of the car with an app that you have on your smartphone. And I have it on my car. A lot of the cars have it, and you don't have to have it installed. It's just part of the car now. So that's coming for probably most manufacturers.
Interesting.
Hey, Stu, what's this? You just text me there.
Oh, Frank in Jupiter Farms texted that to us. He says he saw this at a tire dealer yesterday, and it's a sign.
I love
Earl's
it.
holding it up right now. It says, warning, airbag recall. And it's about Toyotas, and it's identifying affected Toyotas with the Takata airbag recall, and a number that you can call to, I guess it's going directly to the Toyota customer experience number. It's just some information letting you know that you need to get your car checked and take care of those recalls if it's affected.
Yeah, just in case you've been living under a rock, Florida has the highest number of Takata airbags on the road of any other state. And they have the highest rate of instances of exploding airbags, injuries, accidents. We're a high heat, a high humidity state, and we have a whole lot of cars, and we have a lot of Dodge City when it comes to the way these cars are sold. So just a heads up to you out there, if you're buying a used car, just remember there's no law in federally or in the state of Florida that makes it required to disclose. Just disclose the fact there's a dangerous recall or a Takata airbag on your car. And also, there's no law saying that you can't sell the car. So in Florida, and I guess almost all the other states, you can sell a dangerous product and it's okay. Outrageous, stupid. So what do you do about it? Safercar.gov is the only way you're going to find out. Buyer beware, protect yourself. Go to www.safercar.gov. Put your VIN in and find out if that car you're getting ready to sign on the dotted line and give them a check for, be sure it does not have a dangerous recall.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
Knowledge is power, folks. That shrapnel kills, and to drive a car off the lot with a Takata recall, I don't know why it's happening, but it continues to happen.
Yeah, and make sure you do multiple sources. We just a couple of weeks ago we did one. Didn't even show up on safercar.gov. It was on the Mercedes website and it was on the Carfax report, but it wasn't on the recall because the manufacturer has to report that to the NHTSA, and if they don't, or if there is a delay, you might miss it.
Right.
We have to do our homework, folks.
right.
Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. Sylvia's back about her shopping for a used car, and she wants to know, Earl, why is it so difficult for me to get a final price on the phone from a salesperson or a manager?
That's the car business, Sylvia. That's unfortunately the way business was done in the early 19th century, or I should say 20th century. And it might have been 19th century, horse trading, you know. And when you get to the 20th century, car dealers haggle and hassle. They do not want to give you your right to be able to shop and compare prices. If you get a firm price over the phone, you can take that firm price if it's legitimate, and that's another reason you don't get an honest price. But if you get an honest low price on the phone, what would you do? You do what you're supposed to do when you buy anything. Go to another source and shop and compare the price. That's your right in America to buy the product, the best product at the lowest price. Car dealers deprive you of that right, and that's the reason whether you go in, call on the phone, or oftentimes even online, cannot get the real price. They'll give you a price, but it won't be an out-the-door price. It'll be a price with dealer accessories added after you go in, or hidden fees added after you sign on the dotted line.
Yeah, and recently I invented a tool, and you can go to Earl on Cars and you can obtain that affidavit, and that will ensure that you do get that final price, and it'll avoid any dealer installed accessories, dealer fees, and it's really worth its weight in gold. Again, it's a tool for an honest price, and finally, from a car dealer. And you can email that, have them sign it, have the manager sign it, have the salesperson sign it, and if they don't, leave. We are going to go to Paul, who's holding from Jupiter. Good morning, Paul.
Hello, good morning, everyone. How are you today?
Good morning, Paul.
Good. I'm a regular listener. A couple of things. You guys were talking about oil changes this morning on a couple of occasions. How do you feel about going from a conventional oil and then possibly changing to a synthetic blend or a fully synthetic, and then maybe switching back to conventional? How do you feel about that?
Rick?
It really can't hurt anything to do that. I know there was this old saw a while back about if you switch to synthetic and you switch back to conventional, it'll blow your engine up. And no, that's not going to happen. Whatever oil you choose to use is up to you. However, even if you do switch to synthetic oil, I would still stick with the manufacturer's recommended interval. I know they've got Mobil 1 says, oh yeah, it's good for 10,000, 15,000. They got all these wild claims. Those are the type of claims that unfortunately they may not stand behind it and repair your engine if you have a problem. Whereas Ford or Chevy, if you can show that you've done your oil changes as they recommend from the manufacturer, they will cover it under warranty. But switching to synthetic is not going to cause a problem, and switching back from synthetic to regular is not going to cause an issue. But stick with what is recommended for the weight for your car as well. If your car says it needs synthetic oil, stick with synthetic.
Does that answer your question, Paul?
Yeah, it sure does.
You know, one thing I'll add that'll make you maybe feel a little better about that. Synthetic oil is not really synthetic oil. Synthetic oil is actually fossil fuel oil. It's made from the same dinosaur remains that what they call regular oil. It's just refined to a different degree. So it's not like mixing oil and water. Synthetic oil and fossil oil are really pretty much the same thing, except one is refined to a greater degree.
Mm-hmm. All right. I appreciate the information. Would like to say hello to my grandson Joseph out there listening right now. He's only 6 years old. He's a future car guy.
Hey, Joseph.
We are.
Hey, Joseph.
And good morning, Joseph, and I want him to be an avid listener as well.
All right.
Ask Joseph to call in sometime.
Exactly.
You know, he could set a record as being our youngest caller, and if he would call the show, we'd really love it.
Maybe he'll call about recommended PSIs for his bicycle tires.
Perfect.
Right now.
Great.
Rick, get on that. Make sure you learn about that.
Good morning, Joseph.
Thank you,
A
Paul.
new listener.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's right. The next generation of Earl on Cars listeners.
There you go.
Rick,
There
when
you
would
go.
you recommend UB40 oil?
UB40.
That's a joke.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nerd joke.
That's
It's a
a joke.
band. It's a band. Right, we got a text that came in. Says, what happened to Isuzu? Why did they fail in the U.S.? I used to see a lot of SUVs in the 90s, and that's from Jack in Temecula, California. And I think they stopped selling cars here about 10 years ago, right?
Still got the trucks. I see them on the road
Yeah.
occasionally, but
No, I sent you a picture because I could have sworn there was a local Isuzu dealer, so I Googled it, and I Googled Isuzu dealer near me, and that was the image that came up if you want to show the... I'm not kidding. This is the...
really,
put on camera, right? It's a... It looks like a country road in a field. So I guess to answer the question, I don't know if there's any active Isuzu dealers right now.
Yeah.
What I remember the most was, I think in the 80s, because I was a child of the 80s, was Joe Isuzu, the commercials,
Yeah.
The Liar, and it was
great
great.
commercial, yeah.
Yeah, it was someone who tapped into the reputation of car dealers back then, that they were dishonest and all that. Probably helped further those stereotypes for a long time, but it was really funny.
They probably conspired to get the Zuzu out of town.
Yeah, but he was on there for a while. I think they revived the Joe Isuzu thing in the early 2000s. He had aged a lot. The same actor did those commercials, but that was before they kind of slowed down. They still sell, I think, cars, in the European market, and I think in China, and also in Japan.
It's a tough market in the United States. It's just bloody competition, and it's good for the consumers. I mean, it would be good if you were careful.
Yeah, I saw a ton in Japan. A lot of weird cars. The Japanese are really like the small cars, and they're all over the place there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm all caught up on my end.
How about you?
Okay, guys. I see by the clock that we are no longer taking calls.
Audio
and
calls.
it's time for everyone to vote on our mystery shopping report. It's a great mystery shopping report from Pompano Ford. So you want to stay tuned for that, and you can vote on the mystery shopping report at 772-497-6530. And I see by Rick's voice, he has, his face, and you'll hear his voice in a minute.
I can hear that voice right through that face.
My voice is visible.
He's saying something to us.
Well, we've got George is asking. He says, good morning. My daughter and I are going out today in search for her new car, a 2020. Is it true that we negotiate from the invoice price, or do we start at the internet price?
You really don't pay any attention to the invoice, and actually the MSRP is a more reliable tool to start from because it remains constant among all dealers. What car are they buying?
They didn't say a make and model. Hey, George, what make and model? I'll wait for him to reply.
Yeah, but anyway, the important thing is, whatever make or model it is, to take an MSRP that constitutes the car you want to buy in terms of equipment, accessories, whatever, and negotiate a discount from that MSRP with at least 3 dealers, competing dealers. And of course, you have to take into consideration your financing cost and your trade-in cost. But the invoice is meaningless. The invoice contains a lot of profit to the dealer. And when a dealer tells you that he's going to sell you a car at invoice, he's implying he'll sell it to you at his cost. It is far from his cost. A lot of car dealers would kill to be able to sell all their cars at invoice.
I can only speak for Toyota, but I can tell you this. If you get to see the actual physical copy of the Toyota new vehicle invoice, and they can get it for you, it's right there on the computer. They don't have to go back to the office and pull it out of a file. It's on the computer, and you actually look at it. There's a paragraph. You'll see the invoice price, the price of the options. It'll show you what the invoice price is, what the retail price is, and then there's a little paragraph at the bottom, and that's where it lists what Earl was referring to, the holdback. And it will show you. It'll say this vehicle has $574 in holdback, $250 in financial assistance, this and that, a few things. You add that all up, that's the extra profit they're getting.
Yeah. And if there's dealer cash, that actually essentially reduces the invoice. The invoice, the thing, my problem with calling it an invoice is it's not an invoice. I mean, if you go to Webster and you look up invoice, that's the price that somebody pays for a product. And the dealer doesn't pay that price. Right. Dealer does not pay the invoice price. Well, he gives
the money, and
he sends the money, and they kick back. The invoice has kickbacks, thousands of dollars of kickbacks, with dealer cash and holdbacks and advertising money and floor plan reimbursement, etc.
If you try that with doing your taxes, You would go to jail.
You go to jail.
Really?
So I can sell you a car at invoice and I make $4,000. That's what I call a deal. I would say with Toyotas, about half the cars are sold below invoice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They have to be advertised no lower than invoice, but the transaction
That's a
prices.
Toyota rule,
Yeah.
and Honda has
Yeah.
the same rule,
few
which
others.
is another show and something that irritates me.
That's right.
Where are we here?
We're ready for the mystery shopping
Okay,
report.
folks, let me remind you of Earl's column, which pairs very well with our mystery shopping report today. And take a look at it. You can go to Earl on Cars, and Stu mentioned it earlier, but I'll reiterate Earl's Costco auto buying program tutorial. And boy, is it loaded with information. So you want to take a look at that.
And real quick, before you get started, we did say last week that we would have a female mystery shopper this week, and the groundwork was done. I had a situation this week that took my attention away from it, so we sent in Agent Thunders just for efficiency. I didn't have time to train the new shopper, but next week, I promise, we will have a female mystery shopper.
Wow, great.
Wonderful.
Mystery Shop of Pompano Ford, Costco style. This week, we're refocusing on the Costco Auto Program, one of the best ways to get a great low price on a new car. But as we've discussed over the years, car buyers must be wary of the many pitfalls that are associated with the Costco program. We feel the program doesn't do enough to prevent dealers from freely using some of their most insidious tactics, charging surprise dealer fees at the last minute and adding dealer-installed equipment, or maybe the dealer equipment's already been installed, they just don't tell you about it. We've also discussed how many, if not most, Costco members sometimes do not follow the rules of the program. They expose themselves to the risk of being taken advantage of. This happens when the Costco member doesn't go through the official process of submitting their purchase inquiry on the Costco Auto Program website. Got to do that. Very, very important. Despite these problems, Costco members generally have a better time buying a car than most. They certainly get a good price. That's why I've confidently endorsed the Costco Auto Program over the years. However, it needs to get better. The Costco brand is so respected and admired that its name deserves a process that is representative of the member experience at a Costco warehouse. After this show, in a few minutes, after 10 o'clock, Nancy and I are going by the Costco warehouse in Palm Beach Gardens
And buying 30 chickens.
and buying 30 chickens on North Lake
We're
Road.
going by because Earl's buying more cookies.
Why do we like Costco? We like Costco because we trust Costco.
Yeah.
We walk into a Costco warehouse, and I know that any product I buy will have a maximum markup of 15%. I also know that Costco negotiates like Walmart and all the big stores, and they buy products extraordinarily low, and they pass the savings along to you. We know that if we buy a product that we make a mistake on, we can bring it back for any reason.
Yeah.
We know that people treat you with respect and courtesy in Costco, and we love Costco. It has the strongest brand.
And hot dogs.
And hot dogs and chickens for $4.99.
And free samples.
Roasted chicken. But we jest here, but the fact of the matter is
Exactly.
the Costco auto buying program is using the Costco name. And because the Costco name is so trusted, it is a disservice to Costco that they don't tighten up on the rules.
Yeah,
Why it
and
makes us mad.
you suggested in the car on our way over here that I shouldn't start my rant,
Yeah.
and I won't.
Yeah.
But that brand is invincible in its transparency, and it just tells you, it's so telling, it's so honest, and you don't expect to be taken advantage
I
of.
want you to rant. I want to see the rant. All right, let's get back to the report.
Now, here's the change that Costco could make, and you'll be able to find that at www.ain'tgonnahappen.com
Oh,
because
geez.
we've tried. We've tried. We think that you should be able to email a Costco certified dealer or call a Costco certified dealer, get the Costco out the door price, including the dealer installed accessories and all hidden fees. Get it on the phone or get it by email. If you're a Costco member, now that's what you can do with Costco. You can get that online price, and you don't have any hidden fees, and you don't have any Costco installed accessories. So if Costco were to make that one change
Right there on the website.
on their website,
As soon as you submit, get the price.
you
everything.
get the price. www.ain'tgonnahappen.com. The dealers would flee from Costco and by the tens of thousands because
It would be the end of the program.
they would attack the Costco auto buying program. They would boycott the auto buying program, and it would not happen. That's what they did to TrueCar.
Yeah.
When TrueCar, the car dealers almost put TrueCar out of business
They defanged
when they
them.
first started. Yeah. So what can we do? Well, we do what I did with a blog, Earl's Costco auto buying program tutorial. I'm holding it up to the camera. You can go to earloncars.com. Go to earloncars.com. It's my current blog, and it's a tutorial. And if you follow my tutorial at Costco, you will come out with one heck of a price, a lowest price you can possibly buy that car for. Earl, just go to earloncars.com and read my blog. It's called Earl's Costco Auto Buying Program Tutorial. I will
and there's
continue with
nothing,
Mr. Shopping Report.
there's nothing more telling about if you walk away and you don't get the good deal that you should get, to register and write a review of your visit to the dealership. Well, I'll tell you what, you'll get some attention.
Back in June of 2018, we mystery shopped Pompano's Ford's Costco sales process. Agent Eck played it straight, followed the proper Costco auto program procedure. We were happy to see that Pompano Ford mostly followed the rules, too. Their biggest failure came when Agent Eck asked to see a copy of the vehicle invoice. Now, this is your right under the Costco program. The salesperson said he couldn't get the invoice because his manager was in a meeting.
Right.
Yeah. We passed them anyway, but with reservations. We said we'd be back, and here we are. This time, the mystery shopper was Agent Thunder.
Bring the thunder.
Speaking as if I were Agent Thunder, the first person, I began my mission at www.costcoauto.com. And you go there yourself. Always use this website, costcoauto.com, where I selected a new 2019 Ford F-150 and entered a Pompano Beach zip code. I filled in my contact information and Costco member card number, then clicked Select Dealer.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, very easy. Pompano Ford was revealed as a participating Costco dealer. And I'll repeat, as I said earlier in the show, if you don't see a dealer pop up, just move your zip code around. There will be a Costco certified dealer. You might have to drive a few miles, but just because one doesn't pop up in your zip code, move south, north, east, west, till you find one. I checked my email and found an automated response from the Costco Auto Program. The email confirmed my request and showed me a list of 8 authorized Costco representatives at Pompano Ford.
We have 30. I'm just kidding.
Is that-
no,
no,
that's a
no.
joke.
It
It seems like a lot. Usually
Yeah.
there's a handful, but it's
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it as long as they actually did the training.
No. The email indicated that I would be contacted by my authorized dealer contact, and I was expected to make an appointment with him or her. A moment later, I received a nice email from John, my authorized dealer contact at Pompano Ford. It had a large Costco logo on top and a note from John that said he was informed I was interested in a new F-150, and they had attached several documents. This shocked me when I read this.
Yeah, sounded really
Stu
good.
sent me the report. Attached documents, the window sticker, nice touch. Vehicle invoice, wow. And the Costco price sheets, woo. He asked that I review the documents and let him know if the vehicle and price presented would suit my needs. At this point,
I
as
love
I
that.
was reviewing the shop, and Stu put the shop together.
I felt warm and
said,
fuzzy.
well, yeah, I felt very warm and fuzzy. However, there were no documents attached.
Right.
We'll talk about this
Could be
later.
a mistake. Who
Yeah.
knows?
As I pondered this, my phone rang. It was John. Now, by the way, we re-emailed and asked to see the
Yeah,
documents.
that was last night, so I'll check and we'll report back
Yeah.
next week.
John introduced himself as the Costco rep from Pompano Ford. He wanted to set an appointment to see me. I didn't mention the missing attachments to his email, and I agreed to meet him at 1 p.m. that day. I drove down to the dealership in Pompano, tried to park in the crowded lot, couldn't find a parking place, had to park on side street. Pompano Ford's doing a lot of business apparently.
Now I Google imaged them. It looked like a lot of inventory cars.
Oh.
They might have been busy. I don't know.
I
But
don't
there
know.
was, yeah.
I went inside, saw a receptionist seated behind a big curved desk. She was talking on the phone. I waited for a few seconds, walked over to a row of workspaces on my right. I said hello to a man seated there, asked him if he knew where I could find John. The man asked what I needed. I told him I was a Costco member and that John was the Costco rep. He gave him my name. He said, "Oh, I can help you with that." Well, I replied that I had an appointment with John at 1 p.m. The man asked if I spoke to John directly, and I said that I had. Then he said, "Let's go get John." Now, Stu's chuckling, and I'm chuckling because what happens...
Skate attempt.
Exactly. A skating, and that's an internal term. Cardio, that means you seal another person's... we steal another...
I smell a shark in the water there.
We
There you
steal
go.
another person's customer, and you try to steal Costco customers, and then you just give them the best price you can, and you get 25% of however much you can raise the price, and that's what car salesmen will do in Costco dealerships. So we went in being adamant about what we were going to do.
And what's funny is this salesperson who tried to skate was familiar enough with the program, knowing that this Agent Thunder had seen John's name, and he wanted to know, did you actually speak with him? Because if he hadn't spoken with them, then he would have taken
Never
over.
knew.
Yeah.
Never knew
John
what
would have
happened.
been out.
That's exactly right. So you have to be aggressive. You have to be very firm, stick to your guns, and get that Costco certified salesperson's name. If they're not working that day, if they say they're on vacation, either ask for another name on the list, or if there isn't another name, say, "I'll come back when he's back from vacation." Yeah. Don't speak to a non-Costco.
But there's
certified.
8, because you can say, "Listen, I know you got 8 of them. Let me talk to one of them."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. After insisting, he took me to an office where John was seated. He had a broken leg. Didn't happen just then, did it?
No, I don't think so.
You know, that's a little joke. And apologized for not getting up. He was nice, John was. We chatted for a few minutes before John got to business. He thanked me for choosing Pompano Ford, asked me if I was familiar with how the Costco Auto Program worked. I said I knew a little bit about it and began to explain the program. There was no haggling, and they sold the car at invoice price, which is not what they do. As I say, you want to be careful buying a car at invoice price. Likely, you're paying way too much. And sometimes there are special incentives. John then pulled up my information on his computer, said he already had the F-150 I'd selected ready to show. He said, "Unfortunately, I won't be able to help you today because I'm having a hard time walking. You'll be working with Nick."
And by the way, Nick is one of the listed Costco guys.
Yes, Nick was already at the door. He said, "This is John, here's Nick." I got up, walked over to Nick, shook his hand. Nick seemed a little stressed and preoccupied. Interesting. He held his fingers up, said he'd be right back, then left. John said he may have someone in finance.
Yeah.
Nick came back with a woman. He introduced her as Christina. Now, this really sounds silly, right?
It's goofy.
We're going from this person to this person to this person. Let me explain.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Car salespeople are paid 25% of the profit. A real Costco price has virtually no profit. Certainly for the salesperson, there's no commission. On a Costco deal, you're probably not going to make a commission. If you're a certified Costco salesperson, there will be a commission, but it would be it would be a very small commission.
Nothing to get excited about.
Nothing to get excited about. So this explains Nick's frustration and stress and why the Costco...
I interpreted it that he might have, when he said he had somebody in finance, he might have been juggling too many customers, and John said, "Hey, you got to help this person," and he's like, "What are you talking about? These guys will be out in 10 minutes."
But nobody other than a certified Costco salesman wants to sell a car at Costco if it's going to be a legitimate price from Costco. If they can bump the price, because they get 25% of whatever they can raise the price for. Nick came back with a woman, Christina. He said he'd be helping me. John interrupted. Christina wasn't an authorized Costco rep.
Good sign.
So we're seeing a lot of flip-flops here, and Stu and I are both scratching our heads on this. We think that up the line, maybe the dealer himself or the general manager, someone there wants the Costco program to work. But unless you inspect what you expect, unless you, I've just got a red phone call, then you have to be very leery of the fact that you're going to be taken advantage of in a Costco. Yeah. I've got a problem here. Hey, Stu, you have to come back in. Anyway, I'm going to continue with this. I'll explain this if I have time after I've finished the job report. At any rate, Christina was taking over for this shop. Nick responded by telling John that it was okay. Christina would show me the truck and do the test drive, but they would take care of the paperwork. John said fine. Christina was nice, efficient. She asked for my driver's license, explained she needed to make a copy of it. She offered me a seat and said she would pull the truck around. She returned about 10 minutes and walked me to the truck. It was a big, beautiful gray pickup, $62,490 MSRP. She said she had filled up the tank with gas, washed it, and had the AC cranking. There was a bottle of water and a couple of real nice touch. Christina made a pleasant conversation on the test drive and talked about all the truck's features. We returned to the lot and went inside. Christina led me to her workstation and offered me a cup of coffee. Very nice touch. Water, coffee, filled the tank up with gas. Everything good is happening. I accepted. We sat down. She asked me if I liked enough to take it home. I said I loved it. I was looking forward to seeing my price. Now remember, this is a Costco auto buying program, and we ended up with Christina, who was not a member of the Costco auto buying program. She asked me how I planned to pay for it. I said I wanted to finance it, had $15,000 to put down, but wanted to see the cash price first. She said she'd get that for me. I stopped her and said I understood that John and or Nick would be taking care of the paperwork. That's what they told me earlier. Christina replied she was getting the price from John. Now this is getting to be flim-flammy. You know, this whole shopping report was very interesting to me, and I hope to you. She returned with a copy of the Monroney label and a sales worksheet. MSRP $62,490. Discounts and incentives $5,718. Rebates $3,500. See how complicated these things get. Selling price $53,272. Sales tax $3,513, and this is in bold type, crazy. Tag fees. Ready for this? $1,381. Ain't gonna happen.com.
Tag fees.
No
huh?
way you're gonna pay
I think I'll sit down.
$1,381 for tag fees. Now this whole Costco concept is crashing and burning. We had such high hopes, and now we're in the weeds. In fine print below the figures, tag fees was defined as $425 estimated tag fee, $799 dealer fee, confession in fine print. Then they have a little tire fee for $1.50, battery fee for $2, and then the $149 electronic filing fee. Rick.
Maybe I'm just being real picky about this one, but $2 lemon law fee? Is there an actual lemon law fee in Florida?
There is, yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I pretended to be enthusiastic about the price, and Christina asked if I want to move forward. I said I did, but I need my wife to come in and sign. I said we could both return Saturday morning. Christina replied with, "Let me go get my manager." She left and returned right away with William. He introduced himself, shook my hand, then he complimented the great deal I was able to get. "Man, you got hooked up today, didn't you?" He asked if I wanted to sign my portion and have my wife sign it when it was convenient. I said we needed to stick with the plan. I thanked him for the great service and said I'd see him Saturday. Now, we're running a little short on time here. Let me sum this up. We started out on a right track. I think that the original Costco person had good intentions. I think it got away from him and it got into the hands of a sales manager and a salesman that both were trying to take advantage of me as the mystery shopper. The price that we ended up being quoted, we checked, and it was a not a really good price. It was the price that they have online, posted online. Costco auto buying program rule is the price must be lower than you will sell that vehicle to any other customer. So it could not have been a legitimate Costco price. And they added back in the fees and the dealer install options, and it was a flim-flam, a manipulation, a scam, an abortion of the Costco auto buying program, and shame on Pompano. And I just got to say quickly, I apologize. Stu ran out because I got a red phone call, and I stream my phone calls and my hearing aids.
I figured that out
and
quickly.
He was talking out there, and that's what. So my apologies for my panic during this mystery shopping report. But we do need to vote on Pompano Ford on the Costco auto buying program.
Oh, you already finished?
I
missed the
finished.
whole thing?
You
You
did?
missed the whole thing.
Well, I know how it ends.
The butler did it.
Stu, your vote because you're most familiar with it.
Okay, well, they get an F, and they get an F for just kind of, well, they started off great, and then it all disintegrated from there. The fees were ridiculous. I've never seen that before on a buyer's order or a worksheet where they, number one, mislabel all the dealer fees as tag fees, which is unconscionable. And then down in the fine print, it breaks it down to a bunch of dealer fees
Yeah.
and stuff you shouldn't be paying. Nothing was followed. No member-only price sheet. Now, we did email, I don't know if you mentioned this, we did email them to ask them to send the missing attachments,
Yeah.
and maybe it's there. So anyway, I give them an F. They're coming on Facebook right now. Linda gives them a big fat F, off the wall F, and Steve Ward is being very, very charitable, gives them a D, and those are the ones that came in so far.
Oh,
So.
they got about a minute and a half, Rick.
Mark Smith, F. Ernesto, F. Abel, F. Myself, F.
Me, F. Nancy.
Okay, so many rules broken, disappointing on so many levels. Remember, folks, this is a Costco brand. I give it an F.
I'm sending this report to Costco auto buying program and to Costco itself. They need to clean up their act.
Yeah, Rich gives them a D minus. So there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
They're off the list.
So go to Earl on Cars, look at Earl's Costco auto buying program tutorial. We still recommend Costco to buy a car, but be sure to use the Earl's Costco auto buying program tutorial at earloncars.com. I'm holding it up right there.
Okay, folks, we've got 1 minute left. I want to take the moment to thank all of you for tuning in to Earl Stewart on Cars. We so enjoy your company, and to thank everyone involved here, Stu, Rick, Jonathan, for all of their help in putting the show together, and this mystery shopping report that Stu certainly shines on, and thanks to Agent Thunder. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. We'll be right back here next Saturday morning at 8 a.m.
See you next week.
That was hysterical.
I didn't hear him. Like,